Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position. Also, please be advised our city council meetings are broadcast on television on Comcast Channel 99 and rebroadcast on WMGJ Radio. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Toles. Here. Councilman Williams.
Here.
Worthy.
Here.
Eccles.
Here.
Billingsley.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
And Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present, and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Keith Williamson to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We just thank you for the freedom that you've blessed us with so richly, Lord. We pray that your blessings remain on the city. We thank you for all that you have blessed us with. Forgive us for our sins. Forgive us where we've taken those blessings for granted, Lord. We thank you for the veterans and all that were sacrificed, Father, for all these years, Lord. We pray that your comfort and blessings would certainly surround those as we get closer to this day of remembrance, Lord. We pray also for your wisdom, guidance, your knowledge, and discernment to fill this room. And we thank you for all that's been done and all that you will do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Finance Committee work session and City Council meeting held on November 3rd.
So move. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of accounts for the week of October 30th through November 5th.
So second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Proclamations, Mayor. Unfinished business.
You're late.
Item number 8A, the nuisances on property located at 1411 Forest Avenue have been abated by the owner. Therefore, no action by the council is needed. Item number 8B is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 1116 Central Avenue in District 6, Jimmy Lee Dukes being the last known owner. This resolution was tabled for 30 days on October 6th. What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
This is the time and place as advertised to conduct a public hearing allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 1007 Hermosa Avenue in District 3. Kimberly Williams and Gary Wood, care of Rita Kelly, being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? There, come on up. That was perfect timing. Ma'am, if you would, come up to the podium. This podium. Please give us your name and your address.
Geraldine Williams, 922 Winston Street. My daughter Kimberly is in North Carolina. She's stationed there. And I had spoke with a man named Mr. Ryan. He said that I would come in for her.
Okay. All right. What is it that you want the council to consider?
She got in touch with, I forgot the man's name. The man that's going to do the demolition, they going to be assisting her to take the necessary precautions to knock it down.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, I'm Brian Harbison. We started working this case in December of 2012, been no improvements to the property. There are no permits to improve. I did have a conversation this week with the lady that just spoke and I believe her sister, and their plans are to contract with a local demolition contractor to take the house down. That hasn't happened as of today. So I'll ask for a resolution to abate the nuisance, and we'll just kind of sit on this and wait. Thank you.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Ma'am, how long do you need before you're gonna talk with the contractors to get it knocked down?
She said that she talked to him today, so they looking at right at it, like a little more recent. He's gonna get that return, because she gave her, a price, and it's two, my other sister's son, my daughter is two parties involved, and he's not cooperating with her. She don't really have that extra price that he's asking.
Okay, well, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead on the move that we abate it, but they will give you time to knock it down, okay? All right, so I'm gonna move to abate it.
Second.
Okay. Any additional discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 1115 South 11th Street in District 5. The State of Alabama, Brian and Angela Holderfield, Homecomings Financial Network, Inc., and MERS, Inc., being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Yes, Mr. President, we started this case in May of 2012. There have been no improvements, there are no permits to improve, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
I move to abate the nuisance.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 808 South 12th Street in District 5. The State of Alabama and James W. and Rosemary G. Swain being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, this case involves a two-story complex, apartment complex. We started it in May of 2012. There have been no improvements, there are no permits, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
I move to abate the nuisance. Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 2915 Topeka Street in District 6. The State of Alabama and heirs of L.E. Sharpton being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, we started our case in April of this year. There have been no improvements. There are no permits to improve. and we're asking for a resolution today to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 3409 Walnut Street in District 6. FNAMP LLC, Randall L. Klein, and the Exchange Bank of Alabama being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, this case started in July of 2014. There have been no improvements. There was a building permit taken out in October of 2014. We're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 2205 East Tuscaloosa Avenue in District 7. The state of Alabama, Gary Gidley, and the estate of Rachel Davis being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, we started our case in July of 2013. There have been no improvements. There are no permits to improve, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our final public hearing is an ordinance establishing cell tower guidelines in order to protect the public health, safety, and environment. This provides an application and permitting process for site selection and construction of wireless telecommunications facilities in the city. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this ordinance? Sir, if you would, state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name's Andy Rotenstrike. I'm here on behalf of the Alabama Wireless Association. My address is 420 20th Street North, Suite 1400 in Birmingham. First of all, I'm here today to pledge support for getting an ordinance in place in the city of Gadsden. As you are aware, the industry has been prevented from filing applications to build infrastructure to provide the citizens of Gadsden with broadband and cellular technology. Our goal is to get something in place that we can work with so that we can continue to move Gadsden forward and get Gadsden up with the rest of the state of Alabama, and that's what we're in favor of. With regard to this particular ordinance, we are familiar with this ordinance. We have worked with CMS around the state of Alabama and in other states in the southeast, and it is a workable ordinance. I can't stand here and say that we agree with every provision of it, but as a general rule, this is a workable ordinance. We have worked with CMS. We believe they understand what the cities are trying to do and the counties to protect their interest, but we also believe, having worked with them for over 20 years, that they understand where the industry itself is coming from. Our goal is not to come in here and to build the tallest structures and put towers everywhere around the city. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the best coverage for the carriers, the AT&Ts, Verizons, Sprints, T-Mobiles, and what have you, to get wireless broadband and cellular service to the residents, whether it's in their homes, the schools, the churches, their businesses, what have you. So with that said, there are some things that I think we can work through in here, maybe later if Lee and I might could talk at some later point. But as I stand here today, our goal is to get something approved in the city of Gadsden. We think we can work with this. So with that, I'll answer any questions if you have them. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your...
Mr. President, if this, give us any more.
Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this ordinance?
Okay. This time I'd like to ask for a suspension of the rules to consider this ordinance today.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned and second. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today at its first reading, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? We have unanimous consent for immediate consideration.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay. Is there any additional discussion? Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries to adopt.
Item number 16 is a resolution authorizing agreement with the Gadsden Water Works. This is for utility relocation on the 3rd Street resurfacing project from just north of U.S. Highway 411 to Tuscaloosa Avenue and Goodyear Avenue from U.S. Highway 431 to U.S. Highway 278. The total cost is $10,350. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So move.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries to adopt.
New business, is there any new business?
Yes, Mr. President, I have one. It's a request from Parks and Recreation Department, and I ask for unanimous consent for adoption. This is an advertisement.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent has been granted.
I move for adoption.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Yes, since it's 44 days till Christmas, this is where Parks and Recreation, they're advertising for Christmas on the Falls. And so this is additional and social media, so everyone will have an opportunity to visit the fall during the holidays.
Okay. Okay, any additional discussion? All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries to adopt.
Okay, is there any more new business?
Yes, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent. This is from the Revenue Department, authorizing the issuance of a special event alcohol beverage license to Ducks Unlimited for an event to be held at 629 Broad Street on November the 12th, 2015.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent has been granted.
Move to adopt, please.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries to adopt.
Okay, is there any more new business? Department reports, committees, boards?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just want to make a quick announcement. Last week at our convention, the Gadsden Softball Complex received an award from the NSA and BPA Baseball and Softball Associations for 2015 for Outstanding Park. And we just wanted to bring it and let everybody see it, bring it before the council. And also during that convention, we were awarded the Silver World Series for BPA for 2016, beginning July 19th through July the 24th. And so we should have a lot of people in town during that time. Thank you.
Good job. Excellent.
Remarks by the mayor and council. Mayor? Okay. Councilwoman Toles?
I'd just like to say, Happy Veterans Day. I had a dad and a brother who were veterans. So I'd just like to let the veterans know we appreciate them. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you. Councilman Eccles? Okay. Councilman Worthy?
Yes, I'd like to reiterate that and say Happy Veterans Day to all. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. And I also want to talk about us condemning houses, because people seem to think that's all we do up here. We don't want people's property. So if you would keep the property up, we wouldn't have to knock it down. And also, if you can't afford to knock it down, Brian, could you explain the procedure that we give them for, I think it's 3 years, they can make payments if they don't have the money to have a contractor to knock it down?
Yes, Councilman Worthy, we do, if they wish to take care of the demolition themselves, we issue a demolition permit to the owner or their contractor at no charge. Or if they cannot go that route, then the city will take care of the demolition. Of course, there's administrative costs put on top of that, but what we do and what we provide in our bill letters that we send the owners is the opportunity for them to divide that over 36 equal payments. There's no interest put on that. Whatever the total demolition bill and the administrative costs, you got to realize publication costs. Every time we run one of these ads in the paper, the city pays quite a bit. So we look anywhere from $500 to $700 on top of demolition costs just for administratively work in that case. But we do allow the property owners to set up a payment schedule with us. And in most cases, those payments are less than $100 a month. And then that could keep a lien from being assessed against the property, or if a lien already has been assessed, once that final payment's made, we will record a lien assessment or a lien satisfaction, and it basically removes that from that title. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And also, I didn't have my community meeting because we were in Nashville at our National League of Cities convention, so I will reschedule it and let everyone know. Thank you.
Councilman Billingsley?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the Gadsden City Titans Pee Wee football team. They won state championship of Alabama. The A, B, and C teams won that last Saturday, and that's the first time the Pee Wee teams have won a championship, and it didn't cost them $100,000 to coach them. Thank you.
Councilman Cannon?
I don't have anything.
Councilman Reed?
The only thing I have, Miss Teen USA Alabama came to see us. I think we ought to recognize that. She is representing us well, and we were glad to see her. Erin Snow, I believe is her name. Yeah. And tomorrow, Veterans Day, be sure and honor your veteran, but remember the family, because they're the caregivers, and they're the ones that really back the veterans.
Okay. Thank you. Just a couple quick things. Again, I want to echo the sentiment that was expressed by a couple of previous council members regarding our veterans. We do want to recognize our veterans and the service that they have provided and continue to provide. I think one of the most meaningful comments I've heard made here recently was I had a commentator on television who asked a veteran where they were yesterday, and the gentleman responded that he was in Afghanistan the day before, and he compared that to where he was yesterday. This guy was in harm's way, and he was in the safe confines of some area here within the continental United States, something we take for granted. They're over there putting their lives on the lines for us, and we're here realizing the comforts of that freedom. So always, let's take the opportunity on tomorrow for sure to recognize our veterans. A couple of council members have mentioned the National League of Cities, and I always like to give a brief report anytime we attend an event. It was a very good event. I think everyone gathered something from that conference that was meaningful. So a lot of ideas and things that, of course, we all come back on fire. So the mayor will get flooded with ideas here for the next few weeks.
Without money.
Yeah, we'll come back with plenty of ideas and no money. But that is one of the benefits. We see a lot of what other cities are doing, and we get to look at the best practices in these other cities and actually compare that and benchmark and juxtapose it against what we're doing here and try to improve our city. So I say this every year, for those people who think that those meetings aren't worth the expense, you're wrong. You couldn't be more right. Those are very meaningful. And then there are a few of us, Councilman Reed and myself, who serve on on committees that help set the agenda for the League of Cities, which drives what we petition Congress for. So that's important as well. So again, a lot of good meetings. A couple of our council members got a chance to see Vice President Joe Biden. Councilman Worthy even went on to say that he was close enough to touch him. I don't believe that, but at any rate, as I understand it, he did a very good job in his remarks. So it was just good altogether. And I do want to take this opportunity very quickly to recognize the Gadsden Times for the series of articles that they're doing on commercial development. We have a lot of politicians who try to take credit for a lot of the hard work that gets done from a commercial development standpoint, but the real rainmakers are people like Lisa Osborne and those folks who are out selling this city and petitioning developers and such to come here and actually invest in our city. So there's been a lot that's happened. I think since 2006, the amount of revenue generated through commercial development has more than doubled, if I remember the numbers correctly. So that's a huge improvement, and there's more to come. So we don't always expect people to understand how that works, but just watch the progress, and I think it'll continue. Okay. Is there anything else? All right. I entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.